Hi guys, it's Sunshine. So I wanted to do a follow-up video about Bodhichitta 7. I hope I do it justice. This comes out of the book that I read about the transformation of desire to Tantra, and Bodhicitta being a state of embodiment, a state of being, of expressing loving kindness towards others. And for our enlightenment. So I want to define Bodhicitta here. I'm going to go to Wikipedia. I want to read a little excerpt out of that book, and then I found a great meditation that I've been utilizing and kind of talk about how that loving kindness is expressed in our thoughts, feelings, and words that we choose to use. So first of all, Bodhicitta. In Buddhism, Bodhicitta, enlightened mind, quote unquote, is the mind that strives towards awakening, empathy, and compassion for the benefit of all sentient beings. All sentient beings. So we'll define sentient beings in a minute here. The etymology of the word in Sanskrit words Buddhi and Chitta, or Sita, Citta, Buddhi meaning awakening or enlightenment, and sit, that which is conscious, mind or consciousness. Bodhicitta may be translated as awakening mind or mind of enlightenment. It discusses spontaneity. Bodhicitta is a spontaneous wish to attain enlightenment motivated by great compassion for all sentient beings, accompanied by a falling away of the attachment to the illusion of an inherently existing self. The mind of great compassion in Bodhicitta motivates one to attain enlightenment, Buddhahood, as quickly as possible and benefit infinite sentient beings through their emanations and other skillful means. Bodhicitta is a felt need to replace others' suffering with bliss. Since the ultimate end of suffering is nirvana, Bodhicitta necessarily involves a motivation to help others to awaken. So, with that, let's define sentient beings, because I think that's important. Sentient beings, again in Wikipedia. In Buddhism, sentient beings are beings with consciousness, sentience, or in some context, life itself. Sentient beings are composed of the 5 aggregates: matter, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. The Buddha is recorded as saying that just as the word chariot exists on the basis of the aggregation of parts, even so the concept of being, quote unquote, exists when the 5 aggregate are available. While distinctions in usage and potential subdivisions or classes of sentient beings vary from one school teacher or thinker to another, it primarily refers to beings in contrast with Buddhahood. That is, sentient beings are characteristically not enlightened and are thus confined to the death, rebirth, and suffering characteristic of samsara. So that's pretty interesting because I think that we all express loving kindness amongst ourselves, or those of us who are waking up or woke up or awake or whatever you want to say. But are we still expressing loving kindness for those who aren't? It's just like you calling people sheeple. That's not an expression of loving kindness. And then, those who have maybe uh, anyway, let's just get back to sentient beings first of all. So, sentient beings to me are not just human beings, but it is Mama Sophia Gaia, this planet Earth herself. She is a sentient being, and the plants, the trees, the animals, the rocks, those are all sentient beings. We also have sentient beings that are entities that are in other realms that may or may not have our best interest at heart. And how do we still embody loving kindness towards those beings, those sentient beings? Now, let's go ahead and read from the book a little excerpt from here, and maybe that'll help us better understand how to express this embodiment of loving kindness and why it's so important. The open hearted Bodhichitta motivation. We have already seen how our habitual attachment to sense objects prevents us from experiencing the happiness and satisfaction we all want. If we are sincerely intent on achieving the highest human pleasure, therefore, we must give our mind space by developing an attitude of renunciation. That is, we must renounce our habitual grasping after pleasure so that we can experience true pleasure. Similarly, as long as we remain obliviously concerned with our own happiness alone, we will never experience the supreme happiness of a fully enlightened mind. In other words, if we wish to reach the highest possible destination, we must cultivate the highest possible motivation for following the spiritual path. In Buddhist terminology, this supreme motivation is known as bodhicitta. It is the impulse to achieve full enlightenment in order to be of the most benefit to others. Only through dedicating ourselves to working for the happiness of all beings, in other words, only by cultivating the open heart of bodhicitta, can we ever experience supreme happiness ourselves. The dedicated attitude of bodhicitta is the powerful energy capable of transforming our mind completely. This can be shown to be true through our own experience. It is not something we have to believe in with blind faith. When you have developed bodhicitta in your heart, all the good things in life are magnetically attracted to you and effortlessly pour down upon you like rain. At present, because our heart is filled with self-cherishing thoughts, all we seem to attract is misfortune. But with bodhicitta, we automatically attract good friends, good food, and good everything. As the Dalai Lama has said, if you are going to be selfish, at least be wisely selfish. What he means by this peculiar sounding advice is that in a way, bodhicitta is like a huge selfish attitude. When you dedicate yourself to others with loving kindness, you get back far more happiness than you could ever experience otherwise. Ordinarily, we get so little happiness, and it is easily lost. So, if we want to be as happy as possible, the only thing to do is to dedicate ourselves wholeheartedly to the welfare of others. And I couldn't agree more. And what I've been doing is okay, so we've all been hurt, right? We've all had our heart hurt. We've all, been heartbroken. We've all been hurt by family, friends, lovers, whatever. And how do we maintain this um, attitude of loving kindness towards those people or even these entity beings that might be trying to um, harm us? Well, it is about not holding on to the negative out of those experiences and actually finding the positive that comes from them. We can be heartbroken, someone could be very mean to us, say mean things to us, what have you, but when we take a step back and get really honest with ourselves, there we always have a part to play in that as well, even if it was allowing somebody to do those things to us. Um, but we can look at those experiences because everything is perspective, and in duality, and looking at words that are dualistic in nature, we, I think, are at a place where we have to start being very conscious of how we are um, utilizing those words and finding the not the negative meaning in them, but the positive meaning in them. So, for instance, in rejection, with rejection, you could say that, you know, this is someone hurt me, they rejected me, they didn't like me, I'm not good enough. So all of this negative thinking can come out of that. But on the other hand, in rejection, for whatever that reason was, we can say, okay, well, you know, I'm not I'm okay just the way that I am. I don't need everybody to like me. I don't need their them to like me, to feel accepted, to feel, um, uh, well, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but yeah, I think you get the idea, right? So, in all these things, in order to not hold on to the negative things, bitterness, resentment, pain, hurt, we have to come to a place where we are able to say, okay, look, through that experience, there was a positive. I learned, I grew from it. I know now that I don't ever have to let this happen to me again, or allow somebody to do this to me again, whatever. So, in that loving kindness, I can say about that person that may have harmed me or hurt my feelings or what have you, I can say, hey, thanks. Thanks for helping me see that I was messed up myself and I needed to make some corrections within myself, whether that is not allowing somebody to do that to us again, whether that is, I need to change my things about myself in some way, um, or even just to say, I'm okay, they're not okay, but that's okay that they're not okay. It doesn't mean that I have to let them do it again, but I can still say their behavior is what I didn't like. They're still a human being, and I can still have compassion for them as a human being. And I think that this holds true too with these entity beings. I think that most of them are just suffering or don't know that there is an abundance that comes through this expression of loving kindness and compassion towards others. And one of the things that I've been doing in my meditation is from my heart chakra, you know, putting it out there that, hey, look, I may not like the behaviors that you have, but through this other choice that you have in expressing loving kindness rather than inflicting pain and misery, through this expression of loving kindness, you can have abundance too. And it is abundance, and it's the most amazing abundance. So just sharing that thought that, you can have loving kindness as well, and I only have loving kindness for you. I don't agree with your behaviors, but that doesn't mean that I have to hate on you. So I did find this meditation here. I wanted to share it with you. I will put the link down in the description. It's an overview of loving kindness meditation. Loving kindness meditation can be brought in to support the practice of bare attention, to help keep the open mind, to help keep the mind open and sweet. It provides the essential balance to support your insight meditation practice. It is a fact of life that many people are troubled by difficult emotional states in the pressured societies we live in, but do little in terms of developing skills to deal with them. Yet, even when the mind goes sour, it is within most people's capacity to arouse positive feelings to sweeten it. Loving kindness is a meditation practice taught by the Buddha to develop the mental habit of selfless or altruistic love. In the it can be found in the Dhammapada, Dhammapada, can be found the saying, hatred cannot coexist with loving kindness, the, and dissipates if supplanted with thoughts based on loving kindness. Loving kindness is a meditation practice which brings about positive attitudinal changes as it systematically develops the quality of loving acceptance. It acts, as it were, as a form of self-psychotherapy, a way of healing the troubled mind to free it from its pain and confusion. Of all Buddhist meditations, loving kindness has the immediate benefit of sweetening and changing old habituated negative patterns of mind. To put it into context, loving kindness is the first of a series of meditations that produce four qualities of love: friendliness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. The quality of friendliness is expressed as warmth that reaches out and embraces others. When loving kindness practice matures, it naturally overflows into compassion. as one emphasizes with other people's difficulties. On the other hand, one needs to be wary of pity as its near enemy, as it merely mimics the qualities of concern without empathy. The positive expression of empathy is an appreciation of other people's good qualities or good fortune, or appreciative joy, rather than feelings of jealousy towards them. This series of meditations comes to maturity as onlooking equanimity. This engaged equanimity must be cultivated within the context of this series of meditations, or there is a risk of its manifesting as its near enemy, indifference or aloofness. So ultimately, you remain kindly disposed and caring towards everybody with an equal spread of loving feelings and acceptance in all situations and relationships. And then it goes on as to how to actually do it. But again, I will leave that link below. I hope that this was helpful. Sorry about the crows in the background. I can't even tell you how many times I've tried to record this, but I'm just going to put it out there. So you all have an awesome full moon. Put your incredible loving kindness intent. Be conscious of your thoughts and feelings and words, and that they are expressing and embodying loving kindness towards self and others always.